Hi, my name is Adam, and I'm here at the offices of Birds, Georgia. And behind me is a great art installation by our friend Kate Breeke called Flock. And as you might notice, there are many different birds that are featured. And unfortunately, we helped provide some of the inspiration for this art piece by allowing her to use birds that our volunteers had found that it collided with structures across the state of Georgia. Now, if you're unaware, you might be thinking, birds hitting structures, birds with buildings, what's going on? How can a bird not see these huge things that we have across the landscape? And unfortunately, it's a very common and very complex problem that we at Birds Georgia are trying to do something about to make our state safer. So let's step back. Imagine it's migration. You have billions of birds pouring south out of the boreal forests up north or across other parts of the United States. And as they're migrating, they're using many different tools to serve as guidance as they head south. So it could be topographical markers and coastlines, the magnetic field. But we also know that birds use light, the setting sun, as well as stars as some of their beacons as they move southward. And kind of in conjunction with that, many of our birds actually do migrate at night, which might be a new concept to you. So imagine these millions of small migratory songbirds, warblers and gnatcatchers and thrushes, and they're migrating south. Let's say they're over the Appalachians. It's nice and relatively dark. And then they come and they hit metro Atlanta and they see all this ambient light at night, or light pollution. And there's an overwhelming amount of data that now shows birds are attracted and very confused by all this light. So it can pull in birds to maybe more problematic spaces like the middle of downtown or in the middle of Augusta or Savannah, for example. So as these birds come into our built environment with all this artificial light, sometimes they will run into a light source. Maybe it's an illuminated piece of glass or something like that. More frequently, the birds are grounded or find or seek shelter in our urban landscaping to ride out the night. When the next day comes, they wake up, they need to go forage and find food to power their journey, and they're surrounded by a maze of glass. Now, this glass is what's really problematic for the birds that are migrating south. Birds don't understand reflection. To them, it can look like another tree or twice as much habitat. And birds also struggle with transparent glass. So parallel panes of glass on a walkway or a glass corner of a building might not appear to be a barrier at all to birds. So this proliferation of glass and all this light that we're putting in the world is becoming a real problem for our birds, to the toll of potentially 1 billion or more birds annually are dying in the United States alone from running into our structures. So the bad news is that's a horribly high number, and it's a big stressor on our migratory birds specifically. The good news is it is almost completely solvable. So at Birds Georgia, we're trying to take steps, trying to leverage our network, our members, our partners, to see how we can make Georgia and the entire Eastern Flyway a little bit safer for our birds. So the first thing that we did is we encouraged people to participate in Lights Out Georgia. It's pretty simple. If we can reduce lighting, hopefully we can lessen that draw of our cities pulling in birds to those illuminated areas. There's a lot of lights across Georgia in all of our small, medium, and large cities, but every little bit can help. So whether you manage a commercial property or it's your home, think about turning off some lights, using motion sensors or timers. Make sure the light is down shielded, which means it's actually targeted and going where it needs to be. Think of, an old porch light during the summer that's, getting hit with moths and mosquitoes and other insects. Birds are having that same problem. So Lights Out Georgia, we're trying to make Georgia not dark, not pitch black, just smartly lit and in a way that's good for our birds. So that's going to address some of this problem with collisions. The other big thing is addressing the glass, and that's kind of where our larger project Safe Flight Georgia comes into play. So what we're trying to do is retrofit problematic buildings that are already up and have that reflective glass that might be causing collisions. So we've done multiple retrofits with different partners, from the Chattahoochee Nature Center to the South Face Institute to Camp Jekyll down on Jekyll Island. And what we've done is put up a film or an aftermarket product that will break up the reflection. And that has been shown to be over 90% effective for reducing collisions. The main thing is we need visual markers every 2 inches or so to alert the bird, hey, this isn't just another forest. Something is wrong here. I should not continue to fly. in that direction. The retrofitting is great for existing buildings, but you have less control of the aesthetics and it can be kind of costly. So we've been partnering with some architects and other building developers to now construct buildings that are more bird safe from the beginning. There are now bird-friendly or bird-safe glass products that, if planned for in the beginning, if budgeted from the beginning, can be incorporated in new construction. That way you don't have to put up a film, you're not putting up a sticker, and the building is bird safe for its entire lifetime. Now, what about homeowners? There are many products, from films to strings to, temporary paint that you can let your kids or grandkids put on your windows during certain times of the year that have been shown to reduce collision. So there are cheap do-it-yourself options. There are highly commercial, highly professional products as well, but we need to work together to make our state safer for birds. So if you're interested, please reach out, check out birdsgeorgia.org. We're looking for volunteers to help us monitor parts of the state. We're looking for partners to see where we can retrofit more buildings to make our state safer, and then also see how we can connect with architects, developers, and policymakers to find ways to make our new constructions safer for birds.